Heartwarming moment, receptionist unexpectedly discovers a deaf visitor is a millionaire. Amazing. In the small, bustling clinic of Maplewood, the bell above the door jingled, signaling the start of another day. Jamie, with her hair tossed in a messy bun and a bright smile plastered across her face, was already juggling calls, patients, and the fluttering excitement of her 6-year-old son, Max, who was racing her from the front door to her desk. Yet everything paused when an elderly man stepped inside. His eyes were soft yet full of stories, and as he shuffled in, Jamie noticed the way he struggled to communicate. She quickly set aside her chaos to greet him. "Good morning," she exclaimed, her arms welcoming him like sunshine. With a smile that could melt the iciest heart, she reached out to him, using the simple sign language she had learned in community classes. His eyes lit up, and for the first time that day, the air felt lighter. They laughed, shared gestures, and created an understanding in silence that words could never capture. Little did Jamie know, this man wasn't just another patient, he was a millionaire hidden beneath layers of life and hardship. Yet, as the morning ticked forward, murmurs filled the waiting room. Jamie was aware of the whispers circling her like a storm: her status as a single mother, the struggles they faced in Maplewood, the apparent flaws in a world that sometimes forgot about kindness. Despite her best efforts, it felt as though walls were closing in. The clinic was teetering on the brink of closure, and all her hopes of a better life for Max felt like they were slipping away. Emotionally drained, Jamie felt the harsh stares of the townspeople, their judgment weighing her down. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." The night of the town hall meeting, the atmosphere felt electric. As Jamie sat among her neighbors, a hush fell over the crowd. The kind elderly man stood up, revealing his fortune as if peeling back layers of skin to expose a hidden heart. The room went silent, disbelief, then shock washed over the faces of the people she called friends. They never saw it coming. He proposed a way to save the clinic, but the catch echoed ominously: the town had to confront their own prejudgments. Heart pounding wildly, Jamie couldn't hold back any longer. "We can't let assumptions divide us," she blurted out, her voice tremulous yet powerful. Every eye was on her, mouths agape. She spoke of struggles not just hers, but of every overlooked soul in Maplewood. The tension radiated, yet within the fear lay a glimmer of potential. Would they listen? Could they let go of the expectations that tethered their hearts? As the meeting drew towards its tense conclusion, Jamie stood among her neighbors, their expressions shifting from judgment to contemplation. In that raw moment, she wondered, would they embrace the chance for change or retreat to the comfort of their old beliefs? The air was thick with anticipation, everyone suspended on the edge of transformation, hoping to see each other anew. The room buzzed with a charged silence, all eyes focused on Jamie, who stood resolute despite the tremors in her heart. She felt hot and cold all at once, a kaleidoscope of hope, fear, and determination swirling within her. Would they understand? Would they realize that their judgments were blinding them from seeing the truth? The elderly man cleared his throat, and everyone leaned in, anticipation hanging thick in the air. "What Jamie says rings true," he began, his hands moving slowly as he translated his words into sign language. "It's easy to see the surface and not the person underneath. I've lived here long enough to see the good and the bad. Let us not allow prejudice and misunderstanding to dictate our future." The sincerity of his voice echoed in the stark room, softening the hardness in many hearts. Jamie's heart skipped a beat as she watched the expressions change in the townsfolk. Some looked introspective, their brows furrowed in thought. Others seemed to fight against the very walls that had sheltered their narrow views for too long. Could it be? Could they be changing from within? I've seen Jamie work, piped up Mrs. Bentley, a long-time Maplewood resident, her voice quivering as she took a step forward. She's dedicated. I've watched her care for others, and she should never have been judged. None of us should. Her words ignited a flicker of embers, momentum shifting rapidly through the crowd. Max, who had been quiet beside Jamie, tugged at her sleeve, eyes wide with hope. "Mommy, listen," he whispered, his small voice cutting through the tension. "They're talking. They like you. Let us change our story," the elderly man urged, eyes scanning the room filled with faces once scrunched by judgment, now unfolding slowly into acceptance. "We have a chance to remake this community, to build it with understanding and respect. Join me in making this clinic not just a place for healing, but a symbol of compassion." Jamie felt the swell of unity rising in the air, pulsating like a heartbeat. As names were called, memories recounted, and hands reached out in tentative gestures of goodwill, something deeper than mere hope began to blossom around them. It was the sense of belonging, of togetherness, of shared stories and mutual respect. As the meeting concluded, Jamie stepped outside into the cool evening air. She could still feel the vibrations of change within her. With Max at her side, she looked up at the sky, painted in hues of purple and orange, carrying a whisper of promise. "Do you think things will really change, Mom?" Max asked, his voice filled with innocent curiosity. "I think they might," she answered, inhaling the crisp air as anticipation flared inside her. "Sometimes all we need is to realize we're all in this together." As they walked home, Jamie felt a wave of gratitude wash over her, mixed with unease. She knew the hard work ahead would need more than just goodwill, it would require perseverance, commitment, and an honest heart. And with every step, her resolve strengthened. But in the distance, the faint sound of hesitant laughter echoed behind them, a sign that many were indeed willing to let go of fears that had held them captive. As they turned the corner, Jamie caught a glimpse of a familiar face watching them from the shadows. The questions swirled: who could it be? And what connection might they have to the unfolding changes in Maplewood? The uncertainty lingered, a thread of curiosity weaving itself into the fabric of their journey ahead. The soft crunch of gravel beneath their feet was a comforting reminder of the familiar path leading home. Yet, as Jamie glanced back to where she had seen the shadowy figure, an anxious flutter twisted in her gut. Who had been observing them? What business did they have lurking in the shadows? "Mommy?" Max's voice pulled her from her swirling thoughts. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, sweetie, just thinking," she replied, not wanting to worry him. Calmness swirled around her as they walked together. Their home was just down the street, each step building a growing sense of possibility and a pinch of apprehension. They arrived home, the warmth of their cozy living room welcoming them. Jamie slipped off her shoes and kneeled to help Max do the same. "How about a snack before bed?" she asked, trying to keep spirits high. "Can we have cookies?" Max's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Of course. But how about you help me make them?" "Yay!" he cheered, running into the kitchen, his laughter a sweet melody in the air. As Jamie gathered the ingredients, her thoughts drifted back to the faces from the meeting. The feeling of hope was still fresh, but beneath it lurked the undeniable weight of resistance. Change was not easy. Max climbed onto a stool, eyes gleaming with excitement. "I can mix." "Definitely," Jamie smiled, handing him a bowl and a spoon. She cherished these moments, they reminded her of the warmth and laughter they'd built as a family. "Just remember to be careful with the flour, okay?" I will," he insisted, already scooping flour into the bowl, a puff of white rising to greet them. The kitchen filled with light laughter and the sweet scent of baking chocolate chips, momentarily chasing away her worries. Suddenly, the doorbell chimed, cutting through their joyful scene. Jamie glanced at the clock, it was late for visitors. Who could that be? She wondered aloud. "I'll get it." Max exclaimed, bounding toward the sound. "Wait, honey, let me check first," Jamie called, instinctively following behind him. As she opened the door, the figure from earlier stepped into the light. It was Charlie, the owner of the local hardware store and someone whose presence made her feel more at ease than most of the townsfolk. "Hey, Jamie. Sorry to drop by unannounced," he said, his tone genuine. "I wanted to talk to you about what happened earlier." Jamie's heart raced, a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty knitting together. Sure, come on in." They stepped into the living room, and Max appeared at her side, curious eyes darting between the two adults. "Jamie," Charlie said, shifting his weight, "I couldn't help but notice today how you inspired everyone. This town needs a change, and you're the one to lead it." Jamie felt warmth spread in her chest, but skepticism quickly followed. "You really think so?" Her voice was edged with caution, guarded by past experiences. "Absolutely. I've seen what you can do, Jamie. And let me tell you, I think I may have the resources to help in ways you haven't even thought about. But you'll need to be ready for what's coming." He glanced at Max, who shuffled his feet, sensing the gravity of the conversation. "What do you mean?" Jamie asked, her heart pounding with both anxiety and excitement. Charlie leaned in, his expression serious. "I think we need to address something that not everyone realizes yet. There are deeper stories in this town, stories that connect to people you might not expect." As Jamie's mind processed his words, she felt a strange thrill in the air, the kind that hinted at seismic shifts on the horizon. "What does that mean?" she pressed, curiosity mingling with a pulse of fear. Just then, Max whispered, "Mommy, is it more cookies?" "No, sweetheart. It's just a conversation." And it was clear that this conversation was about to open unexpected doors. Jamie's heart raced at the thought of what opportunities awaited, but the question nagged at her: could she truly lead this town into a new future, alongside Charlie, and who were the people he mentioned? As the conversation deepened, two words echoed unanswered in Jamie's heart: what if? The air shimmered with possibility, entwining her reality with the unknown. Whatever was coming next, she now sensed it was going to be much bigger than she had ever imagined. Charlie's eyes seemed to bore into Jamie, and the tension thickened like cookie dough. She could feel little Max tugging at the hem of her shirt, his innocent curiosity mingled with the weight of adult conversations. "Deeper stories?" she ventured, trying to piece together what Charlie might mean. "Are you talking about the town's history?" He shook his head slowly. "Not just history, Jamie. There are people in our community who have felt ignored, voices that have been silent for too long. They're ready to speak up now, but they need a leader. Someone who can rally everyone together." Jamie felt a flicker of disbelief. "I'm no leader, Charlie. I just want the best for Max and the people I care about." "Exactly," he replied, his voice a soothing balm. "That's why you're perfect for this. You have a way of connecting with others. When you spoke today, you lit a fire in everyone. You truly don't see it, do you?" Max's fingers slipped out from her shirt as he darted toward the kitchen. "I want to help with the cookies," he shouted, oblivious to the mounting pressure in the room. "Give us a minute, buddy, and then we'll finish," Jamie called, her attention split between her son and the serious conversation. "Jamie," Charlie continued, "I know this feels daunting. But what if it could lead to something amazing? Imagine a community where everyone has a voice, and no one feels alone." As she listened, a tight knot in her stomach began to loosen just a little. The image of a united town stirred something deep inside her. It wasn't just about leading, it was about belonging and fighting for what was right. "What are you suggesting?" she asked cautiously, wanting to grasp the full weight of his proposal. "We could organize a town hall meeting. Bring everyone together, share their concerns, their hopes. You could be the one to guide this conversation," he said, urgency creeping into his voice. "But it starts with you, Jamie. You have to be courageous enough to step up. Max's laughter rang from the kitchen again, a sound that brought a smile to Jamie's face. Yet, a cloud of doubt still loomed over her. What if they pushed back? What if she made things worse? Please, think about it, Charlie urged. What if this is the change we've all been waiting for? Her heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. She thought of others in town who had been struggling, people she barely knew but felt a connection to. What if she was meant to do this? She could almost taste the shift in the air, a sweet possibility, like fresh cookies cooling on the counter. Okay, she said hesitantly, I'll think about it. Good, Charlie said, relief washing over his features. And I'll be right here with you every step of the way. As the evening wore on, they finished baking cookies, the scent filling their cozy home. Max helped decorate them with colorful sprinkles, oblivious to the world beyond their kitchen. But Jamie couldn't shake off the feeling that the world outside, the one Charlie hinted at, was waiting for her to take a step forward. That night, as Jamie tucked Max into bed, she found herself staring out the window at the moonlit street. What if? Echoed again in her heart, igniting a spark she had almost forgotten about. Charlie's words danced in her mind. They were seeds of potential, and with each heartbeat, they grew a little louder. But with this growing courage came unease. Who would support her? And what if she ended up disappointing everyone? And as she closed Max's door, a shiver of apprehension seeped into her thoughts. Perhaps the shadows outside held more than just fears, they could signify the very challenges she'd need to confront. As sleep beckoned, she wondered, how far was she willing to go for the change she believed in? In the stillness, the answer felt both exhilarating and terrifying. What awaited her in the daylight? What if everything she feared about stepping into this role came true? And what would happen when the real challenges came knocking at her door? Morning sunlight streamed through the window, casting golden rays across Jamie's kitchen. The smell of baked cookies still lingered, creating a warm atmosphere that felt like a hug. Yet, as the light poured in, so did the weight of yesterday's conversation. Charlie's words echoed in her mind, sparking both excitement and doubt. Max bounded into the kitchen, his wild hair a testament to a night's worth of dreams. Mom, can we eat the cookies now? He asked, eyes shining with anticipation. Let us wait for breakfast first, she replied, watching his enthusiasm. His carefree spirit reinvigorated her. Maybe this was part of it, doing this for him, for a brighter future. After breakfast, Jamie organized her notes from last night. She scribbled ideas for what a town hall meeting could look like, topics people might want to discuss, how to make everyone feel heard. Each word felt like a stepping stone laid before her. Still, uncertainty flickered at the edges. With a deep breath, she pulled out her phone, unsure of how to start. Charlie had said he would help, but reaching out felt monumental. Her fingers hovered over his name, battle lines drawn in her mind. Was she truly ready for this? A bubbling enthusiasm edged its way in, tempting her to press call. Jamie finally took the leap, her heart pounding as the phone rang. Hey, Jamie. Charlie's voice was bright and encouraging. You're calling early. Is everything okay? I'm just thinking about the meeting, she admitted, her voice smaller than she intended. I have some ideas, but I'm terrified. Terrified is good, he said, laughter ringing through the phone. It means you care. Let us meet up and brainstorm. We can make this happen. His faith in her wrapped around her like a blanket, pushing her fears aside. They decided to meet at the Park, a place filled with memories of laughter, picnics, and community gatherings. A place that now could hold the promise of something new. After hanging up, Jamie glanced at Max, who was playing with his toys, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing within his mother. She smiled to herself, feeling a surge of determination. Okay, Max, pack your things. We're going out. As they arrived at the park, the vibrant trees danced in the gentle breeze, and laughter echoed from families enjoying their day. With each step toward the meeting point, Jamie felt her heartbeat sync with the rhythm of the happy voices around her. The energy of the park was electric, reminiscent of the very essence of community. Charlie was already there, animatedly discussing the community center renovation with a couple from the neighborhood. Jamie leaned against a tree, watching as he confidently interacted with others. For a moment, she felt a pang of envy for his ease. Would she ever find that comfort in her own skin? He spotted her and waved, bringing her back to reality. "Hey, Jamie. I'm glad you made it." His enthusiasm broke through her hesitation like a ray of sunshine through clouds. "Thanks for getting everything set up," she replied, her voice steadier than before. "What do you think about gathering ideas from everyone today?" "Absolutely," he exclaimed. "Let's start small, simple suggestions. We can share what we hear today and see where it leads." As they spoke, Jamie felt her worries begin to unravel, replaced by a flickering hope. What if this was the beginning of something beautiful? A community woven tighter than before. Each smile she encountered, every nod from a neighbor, became an encouragement. But as they moved toward the others in the park, a flash of doubt surged. What if they don't care? What if I can't make them see? The unyielding buzz of uncertainty threatened to break her newfound spirit. She needed to believe in herself, in the change they could create together. The sense of responsibility for not just herself but for everyone she was ready to lead felt heavy on her shoulders. Just then, a little girl approached, holding a crumpled paper in her hand. "Hi, do you want to hear my idea?" The girl's innocent question cut through Jamie's turmoil, filling her with a warmth she hadn't expected. Jamie knelt down to her level, her heart racing. "Of course. I'd love to hear it." There, in that moment, she realized this was exactly what she had been searching for, a way to connect, to listen. And despite her swirling emotions, she felt a flicker of hope igniting in her heart. What would this little girl's idea be? Would it help Jamie discover her own voice within the whirlwind of this new adventure? As she listened closely, ready to embrace whatever came next, a promise lingered in the air: this was only the beginning. The little girl's eyes sparkled as she unfurled the crumpled paper in her hands. It was a drawing, filled with bright colors and imaginative shapes. Jamie leaned in closer, trying to decipher the childlike scrawl. "This is my idea for the park," the girl exclaimed, pointing to a drawing of a playground filled with slides and swings. "And here's a fountain where everyone can gather like a meeting place." Jamie felt a rush of warmth spread through her chest. This little girl, so full of dreams and simplicity, had managed to touch on the very heart of what Jamie hoped for: connection, community, and joy. "This is amazing. I love how you see it," she said, her own excitement spilling over. Encouraged, the girl grinned widely. "You can make it happen, right? Everyone would come." The small voice, so innocent and sincere, sent a jolt of determination coursing through Jamie. "Yes," she said, her voice steady now. "I can. We will." Charlie approached, having overheard the girl's enthusiasm. "What do we have here?" he asked, crouching beside them. As the girl proudly presented her drawing, Jamie felt her confidence grow, igniting a spark of inspiration in Charlie's eyes too. "This is fantastic. Why don't we ask more kids what they think about the park? Let's make it a real gathering." The idea thundered in Jamie's mind. What if they hosted a fun day filled with brainstorming? Paintbrushes in hand, kids could create their visions for the community space. They could even have ice cream and games. As Jamie envisioned it, her heart raced with excitement. Let's reach out to the schools, get the families involved. This could create something big. "Yes," Charlie agreed, his voice booming with enthusiasm. "We could turn this into something huge, a whole festival of ideas." They turned back to the little girl, her eyes wide with delight. Can you help us? Jamie asked. Would you like to share your idea with your friends? The girl nodded eagerly, her joy contagious. Yes. I have more ideas too. As she prattled on about her vision for the park, Jamie realized that the dreams of the community were alive, just waiting for a place to blossom. But even as hope surged, shadows of doubt lingered. What if it ends up falling apart? What if no one shows? The familiar whispers crept back into Jamie's mind, trying to drown out the girl's bright energy. She was still fearful of failing, of dragging others along. Yet, as she watched Charlie and the little girl scribble ideas together, she found herself embracing that uncertainty. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, she thought. What matters is trying. The whispers of doubt began to sway like leaves in the wind, losing their grip on her spirit. Maybe it was time to silence them and let the excitement take over instead. As more families gathered, Jamie took a deep breath, feeling lighter, more alive. The moments of sharing visions, of laughter mixing with creative chaos, became the tapestry threading their community together. Just as she was about to suggest a date for their gathering, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced at it, surprised to see a message from Mrs. Thompson, the town's most influential resident. Her heart raced. What could this mean? What did Mrs. Thompson want with her? The towering figure in town had rarely reached out before, especially not to someone like Jamie. Would this be an opportunity or a challenge? Jamie felt the weight of the moment. Everything they had just built was teetering on a knife's edge. As she pondered, the little girl's laughter rang clear and pure, a reminder of the hope they were fostering. But as Jamie met Charlie's eyes, a question hung in the air. What would Mrs. Thompson say, and how would it change everything they were beginning to weave together? Jamie's heart pounded, the familiar weight of anxiety creeping back, but she quickly shoved it aside. Deep breaths. Just breathe. Let us not get ahead of ourselves, she said, her voice steady as she turned to Charlie and the girl. We have to keep this momentum going. We're organizing something beautiful here. Charlie nodded, clearly energized. Absolutely. Let us sketch out a plan to rally everyone for the brainstorm day. It could bring us all together, create a real buzz, he said enthusiastically. The little girl bounced on her heels, still clutching her colorful drawing. Can I help? I want to tell everyone. She chirped, her enthusiasm infectious. Jamie smiled, taking in the child's bright energy. Of course. You can be our ambassador of fun. Think of a fun name we could call this day, something that really captures what we're trying to do. The girl thought for a moment, then grinned. How about Park-a-palooza? Everyone will know it will be a party. Park-a-palooza it is. Charlie cheered. Now let us grab a pen and jot down everything. We need to make calls, design flyers, even post on social media. It'll be just like a real festival. As they worked together, ideas flew around like confetti. The little girl illustrated vibrant posters while Charlie crafted a catchy event description. Jamie coordinated the logistics, reaching out to local businesses and schools to spread the word. But every time she pulled out her phone, her thumb hovered over Mrs. Thompson's message. What if this wonderful adventure could be cut short? The dread loomed over her like a dark cloud. She shook her head, banishing the thought. Not today. Today was about hope. The next few days passed in a whirlwind of excitement. They printed flyers, built social media buzz, and even recruited local sponsors. Jamie felt exhilarated, the initial anxiety melting away as Park-a-palooza took shape. Then came the day of the event, bright and sunny, echoing the warmth in Jamie's heart. Families filed into the park, laughter spilling into the air. The little girl darted from group to group, her drawing capturing everyone's attention as they jotted down ideas. There's so much spirit here. Charlie exclaimed, his face radiating pride. Jamie beamed at him. Look at them, Charlie. They're excited. This is happening. But in the back of her mind, the message loomed like a swirling storm cloud. She finally decided to face it. "Ugh, I should check what Mrs. Thompson wants," she finally muttered, glancing away from the gathering joy. She pulled up the message, holding her breath as she read the unusual request from the influential figure. "Jamie, I hear you're hosting an event. I'd love to discuss partnering. Let us meet." So many questions flooded her mind. Why would Mrs. Thompson want to partner? What did it mean for Park-a-palooza? With her heart racing, Jamie looked up from the screen and surveyed the lively park. Families were leaving their worries behind, connecting in the way she had hoped. She wanted this day to thrive, but could she trust herself to manage this big opportunity? "Well?" Charlie asked, a mix of excitement and concern in his eyes. "What did she say?" She wants to meet. She knows about the event," Jamie said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Should I just reply right now?" Charlie looked thoughtful, glancing at the crowd, then back to her. "It's your project, Jamie. But don't let fear cloud your vision. This is your chance to shape things." As Jamie wrestled with her thoughts, a wave of joy washed over her as she noticed the little girl laughing and pulling another friend towards the fountain sketch. But could she truly let this opportunity slip away? With uncertainty swirling around her, Jamie stood at a crossroads. Should she dive into the unknown with Mrs. Thompson, or stay true to the open hearts of the community gathered just steps away? The thrill of Park-a-palooza, and everything it could become, danced on the edge of her mind. "Are you going to reply?" Charlie pressed gently. Jamie took a breath, glancing at the glittering excitement ahead and the weight of opportunity behind her. I need to think about it," she finally replied, feeling the tension tighten in her chest. Suddenly, everything felt like it had built to this pivotal moment. A breakthrough or a stumble? As the laughter and chatter swelled around her, the question lingered: what would she choose, and how would it shape all they had worked for? Jamie took a deep breath, letting the joy of Park-a-palooza seep into her bones. She could hear laughter mingling with the chirps of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the faint sound of a nearby band tuning up. It felt vibrant, alive, everything she had hoped for. And yet, there she stood, tethered by doubt, as her heart raced with the weight of Mrs. Thompson's message. Torn between what she knew could be a lucrative collaboration and the pure joy buzzing around her, Jamie felt a knot tighten in her stomach. What could this meeting mean for her vision? Would partnering with someone like Mrs. Thompson really change things for the better? Or would it reshape Park-a-palooza into something she did not recognize? The little girl returned, now beaming with newfound friends and a face painted in colorful swirls. "Look, Jamie. We made a big chalk mural. Can we call it the Friendship Fountain?" she exclaimed, her hands flailing enthusiastically. Jamie's heart swelled as she watched the innocent delight in the child's eyes. "That's perfect," she exclaimed, momentarily forgetting her internal turmoil. "It's a beautiful name." But as the girl dashed back to her friends, the buzz of happiness faded into a distant hum, as the realities of adult decisions began to pull Jamie back in. Should she really engage with someone who craved partnership for their gain? "Jamie?" Charlie's voice cut through her thoughts. His brow was furrowed. "You don't have to make a decision now. You know that, right?" "I know," she replied, her voice wavering. "But I just can't shake this feeling. What if this is my only chance to turn this event into something bigger?" Charlie crossed his arms, watching her intently. "Bigger doesn't always mean better. Think about why you started this in the first place." She did think about it. The vision had always been about the community. About laughter, connection, and creating a safe space for everyone to gather and share ideas. But in the presence of power and influence, how easily those values could slip away felt daunting. Amidst this whirlwind, Mrs. Thompson's message pinged in the back of her mind, nudging her again, a reminder of the unknown outcomes awaiting. Could engaging with a powerful partner open doors she had never imagined? Or would it ultimately lead her away from the heartfelt connection she craved? As the afternoon sun dipped lower, painting everything in soft gold hues, Jamie found herself gravitating back to the mural. Bright colors twisted in rhythm to laughter, a page torn straight from a child's storybook. With every stroke on that chalk canvas, the friendships blossomed, the essence of community alive and real. "Let's grab a photo," Charlie urged, waving her over as the mural became a backdrop for joyful faces. Jamie smiled, feeling warmth replace anxiety. They huddled together, a snapshot of their collective efforts, capturing the spirit of Park-a-palooza. But what if tomorrow brought a response from Mrs. Thompson? Suddenly, all eyes turned toward her as a spontaneous countdown erupted. 3, 2, 1. Smile. In that moment, as they erupted into laughter, her heart paused. Life, wrapped in friendship and joy, flashed in colors brighter than the chalk around them. Yet as the cameras clicked, a new idea sparked. Perhaps this was an opportunity for compromise. She could carve a space for her values within this potential new partnership. Could there be a way to keep the essence of Park-a-palooza alive, even with an expanding vision? As the sun set on the event, casting long shadows, Jamie found herself staring down the path of possibilities. She wanted to reach her full potential without sacrificing the heart that had driven her this far. "Charlie," she said slowly, a thought emerging. "What if we make a list of what we want from that meeting? What matters most for our community, no matter the outcome?" His eyes sparkled with the excitement of the brainstorming to come. "I love it. That way, no matter what happens next, we can stay true to what we believe in." With Park-a-palooza winding down and the energy still crackling in the air, Jamie felt a renewed sense of hope. But just as she began to think about the future, a shadow loomed nearby, a mysterious figure approaching with purpose. "Hey! You must be Jamie," the figure said, stepping into the light, revealing a familiar face she hadn't expected at all. The storm of her emotions stirred again, and she felt her heart skip a beat. What would this encounter mean for all that she had built? Jamie's breath caught in her throat as she recognized the figure walking toward her. It was Ben, her childhood friend who had moved away years ago. His easy smile warmed her heart, but confusion flooded in like a tide. "Ben? Is that really you?" "Yeah, it's me," he said, his voice blending with the laughter and music of Park-a-palooza. He stepped closer, his energy infectious. "I can't believe it's you. I heard about this event and just had to come." Joy mingled with disbelief. How did you even know about Park-a-palooza? I thought you were living in California." "Things changed," he replied, running a hand through his hair. "I came back to reconnect with my roots. But enough about me. This place is incredible." His gaze swept over the crowd, taking in families, art, and vibrant games. "It reminds me of those summer days we play in the park. Tell me everything." As Jamie filled him in on the festival's origins, excitement surged within her. It felt liberating to share her passion, to recount the story of how Park-a-palooza came to life amidst laughter and joy. Yet, in the back of her mind, her thoughts drifted back to Mrs. Thompson. Would Ben's unexpected return complicate her decision about the potential partnership? She pushed the thought aside. Ben had always seen things differently, often pushing her to challenge her comfort zone. Maybe he would have something valuable to say. "I love how it's all about community, just like we always dreamed," Ben said, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "Have you thought of what's next for Park-a-palooza?" "Honestly, I've been torn," Jamie admitted, her voice lowering. "A big deal with someone influential could change everything, but I fear losing what makes this so special." Ben nodded, understanding flaring in his eyes. Sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most rewarding paths. But you have to stay true to yourself, Jamie. Remember how we always said we wanted to create a place where everyone felt included? Heavy stuff, she mused, glancing toward the mural, still vibrant with color. I never wanted it to feel corporate or lose that warmth. Then don't let it. Ben leaned in as if sharing a secret. Set your terms. If Mrs. Thompson is interested, draw those lines. You're at the wheel here. It's your vision. His words struck a chord, grounding her in the moment. Jamie gazed into his earnest eyes, realizing that while she had been tangled in doubt, she had forgotten the strength she possessed. But what if it doesn't work? She asked softly, the uncertainty still gnawing at her. Then it doesn't. But at least you know you tried. Sometimes the risk is worth it just to see where it leads, Ben encouraged, full of warmth and wisdom. As the evening wore on, Jamie found herself drawn into laughter and conversations, each moment adding to the sense of community that had always fueled her. But in the back of her mind, that impending meeting with Mrs. Thompson loomed larger than before, now mixed with the hope Ben had rekindled. Tonight has been amazing, she exclaimed, arms wide as she took in the festivity surrounding them. Hey, look over there. Ben gestured toward a group of kids attempting to create a giant bubble with some homemade solution. We should help them. It looks like fun. As they joined the children, Jamie allowed herself to soak in the laughter, feeling the knots in her stomach begin to loosen. As she dipped her hands into the soapy mixture, a sense of clarity settled over her. But just as the bubbles floated high, her phone buzzed in her pocket from Mrs. Thompson. The moment felt surreal, a mix of excitement and apprehension coursing through her. What would she say? Did she dare take that leap? With the sun slipping further behind the horizon, Jamie glanced at Ben, who mirrored her own anticipation. The future was an open canvas, waiting for the next stroke of color, and she felt ready to paint it. Let us go take a look at what's next together, she suggested, and he nodded eagerly. But as Jamie pulled her phone from her pocket, she hesitated. Was she prepared for what lay ahead? The future felt as intricate as the bubbles they had just helped create, delicate but full of possibilities. What was she about to discover as she opened the message? Would it steer her fate or open new doors she hadn't yet imagined? Jamie took a deep breath, her heart racing as she opened Mrs. Thompson's message. The familiar dread crept back in, but this time she pushed against it, determined to meet whatever came next with courage. The glowing screen revealed a request to meet at the community center to discuss the potential partnership further, and she couldn't shake the feeling that this could be a defining moment. She glanced over at Ben, who was fully engaged with the kids, laughter spilling from their group like magic. In that moment, she realized something: this wasn't just about her. This was about all of them, the entire community forging a new path together. Could she truly allow herself to explore this partnership? Could it actually enhance what they'd built without tearing it apart? Hey, Ben, she called out as he finished helping the children pop their bubbles. What do you think I should do about meeting Mrs. Thompson? He turned, his face bright with excitement. Go. See what she has in mind. You can always set ground rules. You built this with love, and that's the real magic. Keep that front and center. His encouraging words resonated in her heart, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant colors, she felt a flicker of hope igniting again. With the event coming to a close, families packed up their picnic gear, laughter fading into soft goodbyes. Jamie felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. This day had been a triumph, they had connected and celebrated their community. But change was still ahead of her, and now she was ready to embrace it. The next morning, she woke with a resolute heart. As she sat at the kitchen table with Max, who was enjoying his cereal, she decided to gather her thoughts. She pulled out a notepad and started jotting down thoughts and guidelines for her meeting with Mrs. Thompson. She envisioned how they could collaborate to keep the heart of Park-a-palooza alive and thriving, while also expanding its reach to include more voices, ideas, and dreams. Max looked up from his bowl, his curious eyes glancing at the notes. "Mommy, what are you writing?" I'm planning how to make our neighborhood even better, sweetie. I want to talk to Ms. Thompson about our park, she said, smiling at him. Can I help? He asked eagerly, his small hands reaching for a crayon. We should add a slide. And swings. And a puppy area. Her heart swelled with affection, warmth wrapping around her like a cozy blanket. Yes. We need to make sure everyone's dreams are heard. After breakfast, Jamie felt energized and ready. She arrived at the community center, her mind racing with all she wanted to say. When she walked through the doors, she was greeted by Mrs. Thompson's poised demeanor. The room felt charged, waiting for her words to take flight. Thank you for coming, Jamie. Mrs. Thompson said, her voice smooth and inviting. I've been hearing wonderful things about Park-a-palooza, and I see a bright future for this community. Together, we can create resources that really enhance what you've built. As they talked, Jamie felt her determination solidify. Mrs. Thompson laid out grand ideas, but alongside them, Jamie was clear on her core values. I want to ensure that the community feels involved and that we create a space for sharing ideas. It's important we balance growth with authenticity. Mrs. Thompson nodded, her brow arched in thought. I hear you. Your heart for the community is admirable. Let's work together to create a plan that reflects that spirit. As they outlined the possibilities, Jamie felt a wave of relief wash over her. She was not only navigating the unknown but guiding it. The conversation flowed, her voice felt empowered, and each idea shared became a stepping stone toward unity. Weeks later, Park-a-palooza evolved beyond what Jamie could have imagined. Families flocked to the thriving park, handprint murals blossomed on the walls, and the laughter of children echoed through the air. It was both a festival and a symbol of what they could accomplish as a community. As she looked out at the bright faces mingling, joy painted across every line, Jamie felt Max's hand slip into hers. Mommy, we made this happen, right? His innocent belief warmed her heart. Yes, buddy. We did this together. And in that moment, under the summer sun, surrounded by love and laughter, Jamie realized that the true essence of this journey was not just about overcoming her fears or chasing opportunities. It was about bringing everyone along, igniting a community spirit where each voice mattered. As they swayed together, the shy little girl, now brimming with confidence, approached Jamie. Can we do this again, every year? Like a big party for everyone? With tears of joy welling in her eyes, Jamie nodded. Absolutely, we can make this an annual celebration. Together. In that moment, as she hugged Max and watched familiar faces join hands, she knew they were only just beginning to weave a more compassionate town, a tapestry strengthened with unity, understanding, and hope. The vision of Maplewood felt brighter than ever, and it was clear they were building something magical together. You need to subscribe now to our channel. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video. Send it to at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us know your feelings about the ending in the comments below.